good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to yet another edition of Inspiring Conversations. So, today will be a treat because before we started the live session, I had quite a surprise, but you will notice that later on. But let's go through why inspiring conversations are here. It's all about creating conversations that really matter. We're diving into ways to connect deeply, break down barriers, and build moments that inspire trust and growth. Whether it is with your team at work or in your everyday chats, we'll bring more positivity, realness, and impact into every conversation. And like before, I am in Iceland, and this is my part of the town. I live close to the ocean, so now you know that. And let's dive into our and meet our guest because she is wonderful. And hello, Constance Curtis.
Hello, good morning. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, as I mentioned, people, I thought I was in a different time zone altogether. When I saw the Christmas tree, I was just like, no, there is something definitely wrong here. So, Constance, you have to explain to people the tradition in is it a Texan tradition or just the U.S. in the whole? Like because you celebrate Thanksgiving and like you're a party people.
Oh yeah. So one, I read a long time ago. There's a psychology study that happier people put up their Christmas tree earlier. And so that is a real thing. So if you want to look it up. But I why wait, right? Like this tree just celebrating the holidays brings me so much joy. And when we feel that, when we're deeply just fulfilled and just loving life and just or we're shining bright, then everything around us shines bright, right? So if I can start spreading joy now, why am I going to wait till December 1st? Who made up that rule, right? There's that's actually one of my biggest things is there's no rules. You can do whatever you want to
Of
do.
course, of course. When as I mentioned before, when I was growing up, we put the Christmas tree up on December 23rd. And with all the stress and arguments and yada yada yada, and it never felt Christmas. And then I moved to Denmark in '93, and
Mhm.
then in October, their like streets were just like with Christmas ornaments, and I was just like, where in like am I in a different dimension? Like where am I? But then it starts to learn and grow on you that you
Yeah.
like why not? But first Christmas when I went back to Denmark, my friends from the studies, she had already put her Easter stuff up, so her house was literally filled with chickens, and I
I
was just
love
like,
that.
I was just like, no, there must be a limit. Like January from to April, that was too much. So I
That's so
love.
funny. I love
I
it.
love
I even on my run this morning, I noticed that I live in Dallas, Texas, and a lot of the houses had people out already putting up their Christmas lights. So, and even when I was driving last night and it was dark, I noticed that a handful of houses already had their Christmas lights up. So, I love it. I believe it brings, joy sooner. And so why not? If it makes you happy, then put that Christmas tree up and start celebrating and spreading joy now. You don't have to wait till December 1st. Definitely don't have to wait till December 23rd.
no, and we all need like a little bit of light and joy in our life now. So
Yes.
the times are de-stressing and stuff.
Yes, with honestly with everything going on in the world, it's a lot, right? And so whatever that is, and it might not be, your Christmas tree, but whatever it is that lights you up, whatever it is that brings you joy, that deeply fulfills it, do it. Don't
Yeah,
wait. because society or your neighbor or someone else is telling you that you should wait to do it. No, do it now. If it
Yeah.
brings you joy, do it now.
Yeah. So before we dive into our topic, like who is Constance, and what is it that makes Constance Curtis a guest on Inspiring Conversations?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a deep question. So,
Yeah.
I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my entire life, and but never have I felt more fulfilled and more purposeful with what I'm doing now. And I'm a coach. I I call sometimes I call myself an empowerment coach. Sometimes I call myself an aligned action coach. I hate to box myself in and have a niche,
Yeah.
but what I love to do is help individuals create a more fulfilling and purposeful life, bring more impact, whatever that may look like. And for everyone, it's different. So understanding where you are now in what does that next level look like for you? How can you live a more purposeful? How can you be more fulfilled? How can you have more joy in your life? And it's just the transformation that I see within my clients, even after just a couple of months. Oh my goodness. It is the most rewarding thing I love it. I love it, love it, love it so much. So I think that's how we found each other.
But how is it like you are, because and we are only 29 as we are. So
How
uh,
what?
because we are only 29.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so so your journey, like where is it? Did you how was it? Because you can sense your energy. Like as we were talking about before we came on, like we were in a like we had maybe there was a misunderstanding and maybe not, and I was just like, no, she is just like she is a fireball, and she is just like good, and you give it good, like you just talk and energy and whatnot. So how on earth did you like? Were you always this bubbly when you were growing up, or did you transform into like, or did you like just stay on an intersection one day and say, I want to be a coach?
Yeah, I that's a great question. I think I've always been outgoing. Definitely always been outgoing. I love having conversations with people. Even when I was young, my mom told me once we were in the grocery store and we were in line to pay, and the lady behind us, I was looking in a cart and I was like, tell me what you're gonna make with all this stuff. My mom was like, and I'm just striking up conversations with people and engaging. And my mom's like, I'm so sorry. And she, lady was like, no, that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Telling me what she was gonna bake. And so I've always loved, talking to people and learning about people. And then my Enneagram, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Enneagram. I am a 7, which is enthusiast. So I think that just naturally I have energy. That said, I value alone time. I value my time in nature. I value my time reading because I'm not if I was 24/7, like,
Yeah,
enthusiastic,
yeah, 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 yeah.
I think I would be pretty tired. So, I definitely have a hermit side to me where I love to just immerse myself in things that I love, like nature and reading and those types of things. And then I think when I'm around people, because I do that, I really value my alone time. That when I am speaking with a client or I'm on a podcast or I'm at a dinner with everybody, I love the engaging part of it too. So I do have a bit of a hermit side to me, but yeah, I've always been outgoing, and the transformational though that journey started back in 2020 during COVID. I think a lot of
COVID, yeah,
people had a bit
yeah.
of a bit of an awakening then. That's when that it started, and I just started to get curious about a lot of different things. And then in 2020, probably 2022 is really when I started to do a deeper dive into humans and our thoughts and our emotions and our behaviors, and trying to understand what drives us. And I mean, we have the ability to create anything we want, right? Like everything our life is, we have created it, whether it's the good or the bad. And so I started looking at the people that I saw to be have the most joy in their life, and they look the most fulfilled. And what was it about them? And our thoughts create our emotions. So if I wake up and tell myself this is going to be a good old day, then guess what? It's going to be a good day, because I'm in complete control of that, right? I'm in
Yeah, yeah.
control of how I show up, every single second of the day. So, but if you feel like you're not in control and you feel like your emotions are controlling you, that's actually what I work with clients on, right? So mastering our thoughts, mastering our emotions, so that you can show up and be bubbly and have joy and all the things that you want in life. It doesn't come naturally to some people, but you absolutely can create it for yourself.
But when talking to clients, because you are a person, like we have figured out that we are both like we need people in our life. So, as for me in COVID, the worst thing ever, it was I
Mm.
couldn't hug people, and I was just like, I'm craving for a hug. So my kids, they were just like, can you stop, please stop hugging us now? Like, no. So how is it when you show up and you have this energy? Like, do people like, or has it been like that your whole life? Because when you come in as a storm and like you are bubbly and you're like, yeah, let's do this. Like, do people just like, whoa, who are you? And dial down a little bit. You
Yes.
see?
Yes, I love it. That's interesting you say that, because my coach has told me that I need to match it when I'm meeting with potential new clients and clients. I need to match their energy, right? So if they're not, let's say we're talking about something that they want to build, whether it's their new a business, they have an idea, a life, whatever it is that we're working on, I tend to get way more excited, and I find myself having to I'm like, "Let's go." I'm like
Yeah,
the cheerleader, right? And they're like, "Oh my god." So I do find that I work on that, actually. I have to
yeah,
dial it
yeah,
down.
yeah.
I have
Mhm.
to meet clients where they are. I have to meet their energy level. And man, you get me in a room though with a 7 Enneagram, and the energy would probably be through the roof. But yeah, no, I can be probably a lot for people, and I know that I'm not. Listen, there's billions of people in the world, right? And I can only take
Yeah,
on 16 clients at a time. So
yeah.
I know that the people that love my energy and what I bring to the table, then I'll track them. And if I'm too much for someone, that's okay.
So
I'm
so what is your record for like when you meet clients? Like you were like looking at the room and like I gather like in my mind you it takes 5 minutes and then you're off. So I have read the room. I'm just like, okay, you are a person. You should do this. Like do you ever like I'm in control. I'm in control. And
yeah.
then just like pow.
I no, you would be surprised. You and I, what we'll have to do? We'll have to do a session together one time, and you can see me. You can see me actually in work, in my work mode. But no, because I deal so much with thoughts and emotions, we have
Yeah,
very, very, very deep conversations. And when we're talking about inner child wounds and shadows, and we're going deeper, right, than surface level,
yeah, yeah.
the I match that tone, right? I'm not going to talk about trauma in a enthusiastic way.
No, that is really a
I
bad
know how
idea.
to I know how to adjust my tone for what is appropriate. Um, but yeah, no, I do have a very strong intuition. So when it comes to people and their energy, I do get a pretty good read within the first 5 or 10 minutes if I want to take them on as a
Yeah,
client.
yeah, yeah.
So that's really helpful for me. But yeah, the bigger the dream, the bigger the transformation that a client wants to have, the more my mind is like, just excitement is running through, and I just might be sitting here
Yeah,
smiling, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but inside I'm like, it's just like
Yeah, you can
fireworks
do that.
going
You
off.
can do that, and you can do this, and you
I'm
know.
'Cause
But
I'm an ideas person too. I would
yeah,
my strongest gifts. I'm not sure if you're familiar with human design.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
okay.
I'm a five or something.
Okay,
I
you're
don't think
okay. I'm a two
I have.
four.
I,
I'm a two
yeah,
four. So I got the hermit, and then I got the people person. I'm a people
I,
person and a hermit. So
I'm
kind of
I'm 5'1" or something. It's
okay.
like
Mhm.
oh, so you know? Okay.
So yeah, I
Wait,
love human design, and my gifts are one of them. Top four. One of them is being an ideas person. So I'm very good at being able to see things that others can't. So when they're talking about visions and where they want to go, and I think that makes me really great at being a coach too, is even being able to see patterns. So like the ideas that this person I know could be capable of, and the patterns that are holding them back from stepping into their full potential. So I typically see a lot of people playing small where I believe in my
you want
clients.
you
So
yeah
I'm
you
like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, that's a great idea," but in my in and I support them in whatever decision they wanna do, but in my mind, I can see so much more. I'm like, "Okay, well,
yeah.
that's a really good stepping stone, but I know that this client is built and meant for, like, this." And it takes time, right? And I'm not gonna throw it all out at once, but I'll get them to also eventually see how much they're capable of.
So before we dive into the topic, that is always like it's coming on, but be, you mentioned COVID. Uh, Pre-COVID, what did Constance do? Were you a coach then, or were you in the corporate world?
I was a wedding planner for a very long time, and then I was a matchmaker.
Oh my God!
Huh.
I did not say it like that. Like, oh my God! Like, and then they had like, nope,
It's
wedding planner and a matchmaker. You must like, okay. Let's
I've
go to the.
I've
Should we
worked
go to
with
the topic?
people. I've worked with a lot of people, very important, meaningful times of their lives.
Well, that
Yeah.
must be stressful to make like everything and
I don't get stressed. I don't I know how to manage my nervous system. I know how to regulate it. I d overwhelm isn't a thing that, and I guess I don't know if I'm lucky or what the word would be, but I don't get overwhelmed. I mean, honestly, there was one time and during the wedding where the oven we were in a field. It was in California. We were in an open field. We had to build a kitchen because there was no kitchen.
uh-huh.
We had to build a kitchen. Well, the oven caught on fire, like something happened, like was in flames, and they were like, my sister
Uh-huh.
comes running out of the kitchen, and I'm like, okay, well, just call the rental company. Let's get a new oven. She's like, how are you so calm? I'm like, because me freaking out right now, what is that gonna do? Like
Um,
there's that that
Absolutely
oven
nothing.
that
Yeah,
oven blew up. Okay, well,
yeah.
we need to. So I think I don't get stressed because I'm like, okay, well, what's the solution for this? And I'm good at being able to identify solutions like very quickly. So
And
you just
there
roll
is
with
so
the
much.
punches.
There is so much to do. Like, what can you do in the middle of the desert or whatever? And then the oven blows up. Like, let's
Yeah,
call the company. Can you
yeah.
bring another oven?
I'm like, I'm gonna need another oven.
Yeah.
And guess what? They brought the other oven and dinner was delayed 30 minutes, but no big deal.
Yeah.
We let them dance a little bit more. No one
And
knew.
and the wedding guests could drink a little bit more and have a little bit more fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a little bit more tipsy by the time they ate.
Yeah. But we like the unlearning curve, letting go of the stories that keep you stuck. And underneath the text is we all carry stories about who we should be, how success should look, and what we're supposed to want. But what happens when those stories stop fitting? This sentence, in the blue thingy makes me wonder because when you look to the US and like weddings, the ladies they have this princess wedding and they should be big gowns and the carriage and whatnot. But then reality hits. Like how is it that when you're listening to people, do you put them like, oh yes you are in this category, or like how is it that we can, because sometimes fantasy and reality is not the same. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm connecting. Like sometimes you have this crazy idea that you can come in and I'm going to make this company and I'm going to do this and that, but you are always watching, like you are ahead of yourself because you are looking at the end result. But in between, there are like all of these nutcase jobs that you have to do. So how
Mhm.
do you, and then as you like say, like the stories that you are carrying, because how was your upbringing? What are you carrying around with you? What trauma do you have? And so how do you tackle this? Like when you meet people?
Yeah, absolutely. So this would be like specifically if I'm working with a client, right?
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
takes, I would say that, we start off with what is the big vision? What is the goal? What is it? What is your deepest desire? What is it that you're wanting? And unpack it. And then ask from there, what are the roadblocks? Well, what do you think could hold you back from reaching this vision, from achieving these goals? And we are all human.
yeah,
We all have limiting beliefs. We all have blocks, and those are different. Some people have the fear of success. Some people have the fear of failure. Some people have, low self worth. Some people are people pleasers. We all have certain things that we carry that can keep us stuck to reaching this next level, the vision and the goals that we have. And so I'm very good at listening to words, to patterns, to seeing how certain things, play out, and then understanding where is that coming from? What's the root of it? Right. So let me think of an example for you because I love examples. I love stories. I think it's easier to
yeah, yeah,
understand it and resonate with. Um, so for instance, I have a client that is trying to reach her next level, but she's a giver. She is a giver. And so she puts everyone in everything before herself. So she never has time to do the work on herself and do the things that she needs to do for herself to be able to reach that goal. And so while she thinks she's just being kind, right? She thinks by giving and by helping everybody else, that's the noble thing to do. That's the right thing to do. But is it? Is putting everyone in everything before ourselves the right thing to do? It's not. It's actually self-abandonment in disguise. So I help look at the patterns of, okay, what are they doing that they think they don't, we're unconsciously self-sabotaging ourselves, right? So by, oh my gosh, I didn't have time to do my own tasks today because I did everything for my kids and my spouse and all of my friends and parents, right?
yeah,
That is just by me helping them see that those patterns are self abandonment. And it's actually typically they're unconsciously self sabotaging because they're afraid of something. So it's like, why are you continuing to put everybody before you and not doing these
yeah,
tasks? And usually it's because it could be, well, if I actually do these tasks and I try, what if I actually fail? So while they don't realize that they're avoiding the fear of failure, right? So actually let me take a step back. The fear of failure is showing up by people pleasing, right? Because it's like, oh, we don't know what's going to happen if we try to do this thing and try to hit this goal. So let's just, take care of the kids and put everything and anything before us, because that fear is just trying to protect you. Can you see that? And
Yeah.
so once I can help them see that these limiting beliefs, these blocks, they're just trying to serve us in some way, we actually gain by her not trying, by her not putting, herself first. Guess what? She doesn't fail because she didn't even try at it. So she
Yeah.
stays where she is, right? So once you can see, like, yeah, okay, I am afraid that if I really try to reach this goal that I might fail, then we can work on working through that fear of failure and unpacking it. And then from when she accepts that part of her, from that place, she can say, okay, now I have these tasks I need to do, but I'm being called in a different direction. What do I do? And this time she can choose to do the tasks that she needs to do to help her reach these goals and take aligned action steps towards reaching those goals. Because the action steps towards helping everybody else and not doing her task, it's not going to. It's action, but it's not aligned action towards her what she truly really wants.
Yeah. But how is it? Because you live in Texas, in Dallas, Texas. Like your client base, is it only people from the United States, or do you have like all sorts? Yeah. So
I'm
so
meeting
do, do you meet, like, because I'm thinking
virtually.
about yes, virtually, yes. So I'm thinking about culture, because some people, they grow up and they are practically taught to stay out of the limelight, and you maybe unconsciously, because when you are watching TV or you are looking at a theater, like, oh, look at her, she is like this and this, and you have these abilities to be, outgoing and whatnot. So do you experience cultural difference when you meet people, in, like, because this selfishness, like, to yeah, I have to take care of others first. And that
Yeah.
is not a road to success, because you are spending a lot of money
Well,
and your
and
time.
when we put everybody before ourselves, at the end of the day, we just get more depleted, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You can't fill everybody else's cup and not fill our own cup and expect to have the energy to continue to show up for yourself. So
yeah,
it's a horrible situation to be in. That said, when it comes to culture, again, I'm a big believer in not buying into the should and the, you should do this, you have to do that. Um, Again, my Christmas tree, right? Wherever you live, like if you celebrate Christmas and you want to put it up, like I know. So funny. I was talking to a friend up north, and he said, I think it's a Southern thing to put your Christmas tree up sooner. We don't do that in the North. And I was like, well, what's
yeah.
the divide? What like who made up that rule? Like if someone in the north, south, whatever. So I try not to buy into division and things that separate us, and just it's like we're all human. And so what is it that you want, and are you buying into the societal programming that you've been surrounded by? And we've all had it, right? Like growing up, like in schools in the US, we're taught certain things that we buy into as a young child, that I'm sure. And I listen, I obviously grew up in the US, so I don't know what it would be like to go to school in a different country as a child, but they could be taught, other things that they're, buying into. What's right, what's wrong, right? I
Yeah.
think it's we get quiet. It's about getting quiet with yourself and asking yourself, like, okay, well, what is it you want, even if society tells you that you can't have it, or that you shouldn't have it, or that all the cards and deck, it's all stacked against you. I'm a big believer in anyone can have anything if they put their mind to it and can create whatever they want the way they want to. So, you know, I don't know if that I kind of forgot the question, to be honest,
Yeah,
but
it's just about the culture. If there are cultural difference in maybe it's the same. Like you have the baggage. It's just like what do you have in your baggage? If you are
yeah.
from Germany, you're from US.
At the end of the day, we all have a soul, we
Yeah.
all have a body, and we all have a mind. And that is what I work with humans on. You know, our it's like our thoughts, our emotions, our body. It's like, do you have a soul? Yes, great. Do you have a do you have a brain? Yes, great. Do you have a body? Great. We're the same, right? Um, and all of the external factors absolutely affect us. But I think once you master your thoughts and your emotions from that place, you can make a change and create your reality on the externally.
So in light of all, in light of this, because we people we tend to have these self-doubt and whatnot in our baggage, like, and you say that you have to meet the people, you have to meet the client and make an assessment, and you say usually it does not take long for you to understand and say, I want to work with this person.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
so what is it? Have you ever encountered a person that was like when you started working, then you were totally off. Like you were just like, whoa, how did this happen? How did I not see this? Or why did I assess this person like this, but she's like this? You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
Yeah,
so
no,
you
that's never happened. But I don't project myself onto clients. So of course I have assessment, I have thoughts, I've been trained in the Enneagram. I can see patterns, but it's really about holding space and letting them open up gradually.
yeah.
And it does take a few times for someone to, we have deeper conversations, and it takes, you know, they want their, I want them to be comfortable with me. I want them to know that this is a safe place for them to like truly open up. And sometimes that does take, you know, a few sessions, and that's okay. Right. Everyone
Yeah.
has their own level of how, when they feel like secure and safe. Um, so while I might like assess someone or think, oh, I want to work with this person, I definitely do not know all about them after
No,
a
no, yeah.
15-minute conversation or one session. And the more that we meet, the deeper that we go, and it just more is revealed and more transformation happens. And, but yeah, no, I mean, when I say I know pretty quickly if I want to work with someone, it's really someone who's open minded, knows that they want to grow, and is committed to doing the work, right? One of the biggest things that I make sure clients know before they work with me is that they have to take action. It's not about, I'm not a therapist, right? We're not going to sit and unpack everything and then be like, okay, see you at the next session, right? I want to see them weekly taking, even if it's a baby step, like a tiny little step towards their better life,
Yeah.
towards creating more fulfillment, towards creating more alignment in their life. So if I know that someone, now if they're procrastinating because that's a block, that's a great thing for us to unpack, and I can
Uh-huh.
work with that. But they just have to know that, like, yeah, I'm not taking the action steps that I know I need to take, but I want to. And that's what I need to know. And that, I love that. I love, because I'm all action. I'm like, okay, let's unpack what we need to unpack, but let's make sure we're making progress, because I don't need to work with a client for years, right? I want to give them the tools that they have, that they can continue to, you know, create a more purposeful life even on their own after our container ends.
So is it your belief that when clients talk to you, or when they contact you that they are, because you mentioned on your in your bio, or like what I can read is that people, like, you're talking about healing self-doubt, navigating my major life pivots, finding the courage to pursue a new direction. Because there is one thing to say, oh, I'm so fed up being the person who I am, and I maybe they realize at some point they have a all-time low or whatnot, but are they ready to do the work?
That's the question.
Because
That's the
yeah, isn't it?
that's the $1,000,000 question, right? Are you actually ready to make a change? Because, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, nothing changes till you change.
Yeah.
Can't expect we can't expect our external environment to change if we're not actively doing the work and ready to change ourselves.
Because I love it when you say like you're a hermit, or you are outgoing, but you need your own time. You need your me time. You need to read. And then when you speak to people, when I was talking to like people who are, oh, I have no time for this and I don't know time. Yeah, but if you would write down all the things you do during the day, how much would be on the telephone or
Yeah.
on the computer watching
Mhm,
YouTube?
mhm.
Because there are so many people who say, "Oh, I read so much as a child. Now I
Mhm.
never do." Well, what's stopping you to take up a book and just enjoy a good book again?
Yeah,
So, so,
absolutely.
how is it that you like? Do you make like no make them is a horrible word. Do you ask them to write down like how is your day, or like to get just a inkling of how
Yeah.
they are as a person, like what do, because time and all the noise around you, you have to be there. Well, you have to be there on the phone, right? You're not going
Mhm. Just take
anywhere. So how much is that? Like how much is people, because you have to unpack the bad habits that a phone has done or a computer has
Mhm,
done or
mhm.
whatnot. Because so what are your comments to that? Like, because if
Yeah.
you are an avid reader, like it's
Well,
just
we make time for the things that we wanna make time for, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't have time for the things that I don't want to do. That's the reality, right? If I'm saying, "Oh, I don't have time to do that," it's because I'm not making it a priority, and I would rather there's something else that I would rather be doing. So, I start with clients understanding what it is that lights them up. Like, what are the things that you love to do, even if you're not doing them? Like reading, going for a run, spending time with family and friends, enjoying a cup of coffee, like in peace and quiet in the morning,
oh
journaling,
yeah, yeah,
all of the things that the littlest things too. It doesn't have to be something big, right? It doesn't have to be a trip to Europe or something extravagant. It can be one of my favorite times of the day is my coffee in the morning and my journaling. And
yeah.
I make time for it every single day because I know that it lights me up, it fulfills me. I love doing that. And so we start there. So even if you aren't making time for it right now, what are the things that you truly, truly, truly love to do? And then it's about setting boundaries. So if we go through life and we don't make time for the things that deeply fulfill us, we're going to wake up one day and go, what was this all for? Right? Like, let's say someone's working a 12-hour day and they're just grind, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. And then all of a sudden they're 90 years old and they're going, I didn't make time for the things that truly, lit me up. Then what was the point of it all? And so
Mm.
that's my belief. And so the clients that want to work with me, we work on setting boundaries. So what does it look like to put your phone down from 6 to 8:30 and have a conversation with your children and actually be present and look them in the eye and sit down with them and have dinner and ask them how their day was and just do those little things and not feel like, oh my gosh, I need to check an email. Maybe my boss is calling, those types of things. Right. So it starts with setting boundaries, and those are healthy. I don't know about other places, but in the US, I feel like we can be it's really hard to set boundaries, especially when it comes to the phone, right? I even remember like a text message. I thought I have to respond to this text
Hmm.
message within like an hour, right? Like, gosh, for like, I can't let a whole day go by and I don't expect, respond to a text message. Now I have times of the day where I'll go through and check my texts, and that's what works for me. I have to set those boundaries so that I can have time to do the things that I want to do, because that's what makes me happy.
Hmm.
So, yeah, you got to set those boundaries.
Yeah. But and also another thing I'm reading here, this like people get stuck, but how? And you say, I quote, "Her gift is helping people get real with themselves, clarifying the values, realizing what no longer serves them, and creating a vision rooted in authenticity and alignment." End quote. So when when you are working in these, like you are working with people, and when you realize, you can see, is there a moment when you say, aha, she got it, or he got it, or like, and you are just like,
Oh, if they have aha moments?
yes.
Oh,
So yeah,
all the time. It's
based on that, what I was reading, like if they all of a sudden they just like, yo, and you are just like, ding, ding, ding.
Yep. And that's what a good coach does. A good coach asks powerful questions, because everything, we have the wisdom. We know,
Yeah.
right? Everything we need is already internally in us. We just have to have someone like myself asking the powerful questions to get us to realize it and see, because it's really hard to see our blind spots. We don't realize, we're unconsciously self-sabotaging ourselves. We don't realize that we're doing certain things. Sometimes we don't see our own patterns, our
Yeah.
behaviors. And so, yeah, absolutely. Me asking the questions of just powerful questions, they say, oh, okay, well now, and they'll start talking, they kind of keep going like, oh wow, now that I'm talking about this, I can see, X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And they have these moments of, yeah, that's not working for me. And that I don't like to tell people. It's not what I do. I don't tell people what they should and shouldn't do. I get them to see it
The
by asking.
self-realization of what is not working for me.
Self-awareness. It's step
Self-awareness, yeah.
one, it's the awareness stage. It is self-awareness. It is what am I doing to create the life that I have right now? We are all our own creators. So
Yeah.
if something in your life isn't working for you, or you don't feel deeply fulfilled, you have the power to change it. But it comes first with the self-awareness of why and how you created it.
Because I'm considerate of your time, and because we talked about, because 45 minutes has passed. Like, uh, time flies when you're having fun. I mean, you are just like, you are such an energy, like, oh, but I can't let you go before, like, you have to tell me, like, are there any, like, do you have any success stories, or like where you thought you were going like somewhere and then just it plummeted, or like, do you have any where you, maybe it's better to say like, okay, give me some success story where you were just like, I don't know about this, and then pow.
Let me think. So I have a ton of success stories. Honestly, I see
Ooh.
success stories with my clients within a few weeks, because I see little changes that they're making. And it just, even the smallest change, I worked with one client who said, still working with him, that he has a hard time finding happiness. Like it's a minute by minute, hour by hour struggle to truly, truly be happy. And since we've been working together, I've seen huge, what might look like a little transformation. For him, it's very big in finding joy in like the everyday things. And so where he's going to be in 6 months, he won't recognize himself, and I'm very, very excited for that. But and then I've been hired by clients to help with personal life, and because I work on personal development and business development. And so
Yeah.
I've been hired because I do have a background in matchmaking. So one client, I was going to help him with his dating life. And we actually haven't even talked about dating. We've talked about his business for the past 2 months that we've been working together. So I never know. My clients are in control of what they want to discuss at each session. And so it's interesting. I'm like, it's funny. We actually, he did say he wants to get a little bit more into the dating next, but he's raising money from investors right now, and he's doing some really exciting things. So we've been unpacking really him stepping into his worth and understanding, okay, what is it? It's a lot of times when we raise money, we just think like, oh, I need money. It's like, no, investors need you too, right? Like they need to deploy money. So standing in your worth and saying, okay, here are actually the things that I'm looking for in an investor too, right? The investor doesn't have all of the control. Us as founders, us as business owners, we also have the control. And if we stand in the power in our worth and know what we're looking for, if we're not leading from a scarcity mindset, we can say no to maybe an investor that we know is not aligned with us. That is going to end up being, if we take that money, they're going to be the biggest pain in our butt. But a lot of people just, when you're raising money, like, yes, I need it. So they take it. So with him, we're really working. We've been unpacking, what do his investors look like? And I'm so happy to say that, the past couple of months, he's found the right investors for him that are aligned with him and his vision. And he's not raising money from a scarcity mindset of, I'll take, money from anybody, because, that could look like a disaster, getting the wrong people on your cap table. So I never know what I'm like. I'll start a session and I never know what we're going to be talking about. And that's what I think is part of the excitement and what I love. I'm like, okay, what are we unpacking today? Let's go.
Yeah, but you mentioned scarcity, abundance, and it's just like now I'm just like, okay, I need to do Constance Curtis 2.0. Like, you say so much, and I'm just like, oh yeah, yes, 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 and continue. But I want to get, like, you have to go and on with your life. So you are on Facebook and you are on Instagram and you are open for clients overseas. Like you are not like you are not only America or US based. So
No, I'm meeting with a client next week, and he lives in Japan. So that's really exciting. Yeah. I'm
okay.
working. It's it's gonna be 8 a.m. my time and 11. I'm like, are you sure that's not too late for you? And he's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, that's fine. So I love working with people all over the world. So if you are interested, and by the way, I just love people reaching out to say hi. So even if you are listening to this and you are, intrigued by the conversation, follow me on Instagram at Constance Curtis, and send me a message and say hi and tell me, you heard this conversation. I'd love to know that.
Yeah, that would be fun. And then you have your website, learn-here.com.
Yes. Yes. That's the website that I do sell some courses on as well.
Yeah. And they can find you also. You are on LinkedIn, but are you not maybe not
I
that
am on
active on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Yeah, I'm active on LinkedIn, Constance Curtis.
Yeah.
There's not too many Constances, I feel like, out there. But I would say I'm the most active on Instagram, probably
Yeah.
more than likely. And yeah, Constance Curtis on Instagram.
So that is beautiful. And just as always, I find, because I was telling you that what I learned from this is just I meet great people, and you are definitely one of them because you are just
Oh,
on fire. You're just like, ah. That's why I say like Constance Curtis 2.0. So thank you very much for this, because as I have to just say, like, it's brilliant. But I just want to say before we end that the next conversation is with Rand Timmerman, and that is on Thursday, the 13th of November. The long walk home, finding freedom one step at a time. And his story is unbelievable. In the age of 70 something, he walked 2,200 miles up something called Appalachia
Oh,
terrain.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow.
And
That will be
yes,
good for
yes.
him.
And he went with his brother, who was 2 years younger, and I was just like, what? And dealing with alcohol, like he has so much interesting story. It's just like, I'm
Oh,
just like
wow. People
I'm
are
like a
people are
kid.
so incredible.
Yes, and I'm just like a kid in a candy store.
No, you're incredible too. You're
Oh,
amazing, and I
thank
I
you.
really appreciate you. This has been great, and we'll definitely have to do this again.
Oh, yes. And in the meantime, people, be curious, be interested, and be inspired, because you never know when you meet a person that you can, like, that person will give you something. Like, you never know. So just thank you very much. And this was fantastic chat.
Thank you so much.